from other important things that are happening in the universe right now, like this presidential election or whatever. Yeah, we just thought you might need a break. So we were going to come on and talk to you for a little bit.
Yeah, so we're going to be silly, but we're also going to be inspirational. We're going to be very inspirational because we're going to talk to you about what we've been doing with the She interviews. We launched June 22nd of this year, and we've experienced so much stuff. And we need to share it with you guys because we know that we are not the only moms out there that have a passion project that's on our minds. Or we had one on our mind and now we're realizing that project. But we know that you guys have some passion projects on your minds too, and you haven't started yet. So we wanted to tell you how we decided to, push the go button, get this thing launched in a pandemic with all kinds of crazy things going on. And we did it anyway. And we need to share this with you and inspire you to get busy and start your passion project. Right, Jenny?
100%. I mean, and just to lay it out there, this idea or the concept for what Jess and I have been doing was not just born in the pandemic. It was kind of like a year in the making, in the works, right? We were meeting late night at Panera after work at like 8, 9 o'clock with our friend Jackie too, just dialoguing about the idea that there needs to be a community that exists for working moms in a unique format that doesn't quite exist yet. So yeah, there are like these businesses for funny moms, right? Or for just like support for working moms and all of the resources for that. And so there's some humor, some comic relief. There are life coaches and working mom life coaches for sure. But the things that we were missing were real live working mom stories. Okay, so there are definitely certain times and places that we need coaches and we need therapists and we need counselors and we need some comic relief. We need some comedians in our lives for sure.
Yes.
But we were missing like the real life day-to-day, somebody just like me who's doing what I'm doing and we're all surviving to the next day. That was really our intention, and why we started this to begin with is because we wanted to give all of you a voice in a way that you hadn't been given one before. So I really just wanted to come on here and let you know about how we started, some kinds of obstacles that we've kind of come across the last couple months in launching this whole thing, Jess. Jess is the business lady. I knew nothing about that. Like, I write words and I speak things and I'm good at those things, but Jess knows her stuff when it comes to running a business. So let's talk a little bit, Jess, about what some of the obstacles were that came up when we're just starting this partnership in this business together.
Yeah. So, well, first of all, we decided we talked and talked, like you said, we talked about launching it. And we finally were like, let's rip the Band-Aid off in the middle of this pandemic. Because if we don't get this thing started, it's just never going to happen. So the first thing that I want to tell you, ladies, is if you have some kind of passion project that's like, just boiling up inside of you and you're just trying to figure out the right time to do it, sometimes the right time, like you just need to do it. You need to just get your handle on your Instagram page or your Facebook or whatever and just do it, right? So that's what we did. We're like, it's now or never. And we just said, let's do it. And so we did it. And so obstacles, well, we're in a pandemic, so we can easily say, this is crazy town. We have kids virtual learning. I mean, Jenny's going and she's a teacher and she's virtual learning with her kids. So like, that's just crazy town, right? So we have a million excuses not to start this thing, but we did anyway. So one of the first obstacles we had was scheduling, right? Managing our time, managing our expectations for work, what we want to accomplish, right? My square is little. What we want to accomplish. Because we have all these really amazing ideas, right? As do you, I'm sure. And then what we're able to accomplish, right?
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
It's frustrating and it requires a whole lot of communication, particularly when there's two people involved. So both Jess and I manage the social media accounts. There are both of us that manage the Instagram and the Facebook, which gets a little complicated if we're not on top of our communication at all costs.
Yeah.
That means we have to have a meeting first about our thoughts and plans and ideas for content before we actually have those specific planning meetings on what they're going to be about. So it was a lot of timing. It was a lot of juggling, a lot of scheduling. We had to put things on the calendar, right, Jess?
Yes, everything has to go on the calendar.
Everything.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't happen.
Yep. Everything has
right?
to go on the calendar. So,
And people will do that all the time. You have to schedule self-care for yourself, put it on the calendar. If you have a passion project that you've wanted to start forever and you're like, I have nothing, there's nothing that exists right now, just begin by putting an hour on the calendar for yourself every day. This is my planning hour. I'm going to figure out my first step on how to achieve it. Because if it's not on the calendar, it's not going to happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we had scheduling, juggling job and family, constantly trying to find the priority, right? With little time. Like, okay, this is what we want to do. This is how much time we have. What is the priority on this hand that we're going to put in this hand and get it done to propel us forward, right?
So we didn't, so
we didn't obstacles. And then the last obstacle was the technology.
Yeah.
So learning video editing, learning all the things about how to navigate Facebook and Instagram. And by the way, Facebook totally changed their interface right in the middle of us doing all this crap. And then researching platforms. Like we're using something called Be Live right now. There's another one out there. Right. Which one do you choose? The Instagram posting. Oh my gosh, there's a million scheduling apps out there. And we went through all this research for that. Which video editing, I was like ready to shoot myself one day, guys, because I wanted to start. I mean, I hope you guys like my videos because I edit them. And I didn't know how to edit videos before we started the She interviews on June 22nd of this year, right? I had no idea how to do them, but I was like, I'm going to figure this out. So first, I had to figure out what video software to use. I picked one out, downloaded it. It wouldn't work because I have a stupid Chromebook and it's not compatible. So like that, I wanted to lose my mind after a week of research. Found another one, which I'm using right now, which is called WeVideo, and I love it to death. So if you guys are interested in learning how to edit videos, it's like half the price of Adobe, and it's awesome. So I've been using that. And so that just these little things, you have this finished product in your mind that you want to do, but you have all these steps beforehand that you have to figure out. It could be frustrating, but we had fun with it, right, Jenny?
No, absolutely. You know what? We did have fun with it because they were tools in order for us to get across the message that we felt really strongly about. Yeah. And so it was kind of worth it for us to trial and error some things. We went with Later for a little while, which is like a content batching platform for social media. And we loved certain aspects about it. And then there were certain things about it that we were like, you know what, this isn't going to work for us. Yeah. And so we've done, and we tried out Preview to see that if there were certain elements or concepts that worked for us for that and which ones didn't. And it was worth it to us for the investment in order to find a platform that had the tools that were useful for us and what we were trying to do. Yeah. But you have to be prepared for that. And you can't be disappointed and know or feel that you wasted money or effort or time. Yeah. It helped us learn what worked for us. So nothing was wasted.
Yeah. So our head mindset coach, Elizabeth Nader, she said this the other day, which was amazing. She said, entrepreneurs don't fail, they learn.
That's right.
That's the mindset of an entrepreneur. Like you're just, trial and error, course correction. And we've been doing a lot of that in these last few months, learning so much stuff. Like it's really exciting.
Yeah. So not only have we been engaging in our learning with technology, which has grown exponentially more. Definitely for me, that was a learning curve for me. Yeah, for sure. But
we've also into our third point, what we've learned.
Yeah. And so, yes, moving right over and in to original content. Jess and I felt really strongly that we didn't want to just pump out to you reiterated content that already existed in the world. Obviously, it's out there and it's necessary and important, but it didn't come from us. But we had to kind of fight against this idea that quantity was more important than quality. We thought we should be pumping out original content every day, and we should have 4 posts a day. And all of a sudden it became this hamster wheel that neither one of us could get a break from. That's honestly what it had felt like. And it wasn't because we weren't passionate about what we were speaking about. In fact, I think it was the opposite, right?
Yeah. There's just so much to say on this topic. It's like insane.
Right. Every time Jess and I would get together, we'd be like, oh, I have an idea. Oh, I have another idea. Oh, I want to do this. So I want to do this. And they're all really good ideas, except you can't do all of them well at once.
Want to do this? Can only do this.
Yes, right. We want to do this, but we only have time to do this.
Yeah.
And so we had really learned what it looks like to pare down content in order to focus on the quality of what we're delivering.
Right.
Like, we're not sacrificing anything by doing that. And we were concerned that we would be letting the audience down or our community down or not providing the appropriate resources, but that's actually not true.
Yeah.
We just were reinforcing the things that we felt strongly about and what would be most helpful for you guys.
Yeah. So let me make that a concrete idea. So specifically, the main thing, what when we started, we were doing one interview a week, and we were doing one interview a week all the way up until like 2 weeks ago. So for the last few weeks, I was like doing a full half-hour interview. I was editing it. I was advertising that interview was coming. We were also doing multiple Facebook posts per week about different things that pertain to it. We also started a pandemic motherhood short stories. Well, I call it a short story series, but it's really not. It's what would you call it, Jenny?
I mean, they're little mini biographies.
Pandemic motherhood mini biographies that was going out once a week. We were having guests on the show regularly. And we were like, wow, we're just making full-time jobs for ourselves. And eventually that's what we'd like to do, right? We'd like to have this be a huge hub. Like, we have a huge vision for it, but there's also the timing of things, right? There's a learning curve. There is the timing of how things are going to happen with the rest of our life, right? So I'm going to actually mention this book twice, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, right? And the first thing that I'm going to say about that book is I just lost my train of thought. Damn it! What are we talking about?
We're talking about the
yeah. So actually, it's the same. Okay, so what the author talks about is when you are wanting to be an entrepreneur or building your business or whatever it is, you have to really figure out what is going on. Like, why are you building the business? It's to enrich your life, right? We want to enrich our life. And what is going on with our life? How can we make that business grow in the context of the kind of life that we want to live, right? So for example, right, like, we're moms just like you guys. We got lots of plates spinning. We might have a full-time job. We have kids doing their virtual learning, their homework. We have husbands. We have making dinner, right? It's a big mental load. So us building a business really needs to, it's a very delicate balance, and we need to make sure that when we're building a business, it's going to complement that lifestyle that we have, right? Versus, like, let's just say I'm a single, 27-year-old dude, right? And I got no other responsibilities. It's just me. Like, I might be able to, go from 0 to 101 miles per hour, right? And build that thing. So we have to keep that in context of what we're doing and be okay with that, right? And I think also, as moms wanting to start businesses, we have to really make sure that we work smarter, not harder. And that it's an art. It's an art that us women are very, very good at, because obviously, you go on social media, you look out in the world, there's lots of women that are very, very successful with their careers and also have a harmonious family life and lifestyle. And so it's a delicate balance that is part of our learning curve. And that's the next thing that I'm going to talk about from this book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, is that he talks about something called silent victories. So before you're able to have public victories with your business or whatever it is, you have to have silent victories first, right, guys? So Jenny and I have been experiencing a lot of silent victories in these last few months. And we've experienced some public victories, like really cool public victories. Like when we first started putting out our interviews, we were like, yay, we got 50 views, right? Like, somebody's watching this thing, right?
Wonderful. Yeah, we absolutely celebrated that for sure.
And now a few months later, we put in the hard work and whatever, our interviews started getting better and we started having a buzz. And now later our interviews, oh my gosh, like over 1,000 views.
Yeah. It's
in only a few short months. So that was a public victory that we had.
Yeah.
That's probably one of our first public victories that we've had. But before that, all of our private victories, right? Like finding the video editing software, learning how to make the videos, right? Like, you know, no one's calling me like a huge entrepreneurial success because I learned that, right? But like that was my silent victory. And you know, in the book, it talks about we have to have all these silent victories before we have the public victory. So that's kind of where Jenny and I are right now. And super excited to share that with you guys, especially, you know, we've created such like, we don't have a lot of followers yet, but the followers that we have are dedicated to us and engage with the content that we're putting out and share the content that we're putting out. So, you know, I think that being transparent with you guys and open and honest about our journey, I want this to inspire you to go and do it and kind of just see like, oh, this is what it's going to look like when I start my journey and the things that I'm going to be going through. And it's all going to be good. It's going to be all good.
Yeah, no, that's right. And I do think that is something that we have to keep in mind when we enter into something that's brand new. You know, like Jess and I both have full-time jobs. We do. And we have kids and we have all of the things that you are dealing with as well.
Yeah.
But this was important to us. And we know that you have something that's important to you. And if we can just convey the message that you have all of the tools that you need right now in order to do what's important to you, to take the first step in order to do that, then that's really what this was all about to begin with.
Yeah. And if you guys have questions, right? Like you have something on your, like you want to start something and you've been afraid to or whatever, and you want to chat with us, like private message us and we'll be happy to talk to you more about what we've been going through and help you get started for sure. You know, Elizabeth gave me a little push, right? Like she asked me to come on her show and talk about money mindset, right? Because I'm a financial coach. And, you know, even on the show live, she was like, yeah, and Jess is going to be starting this project soon, right? So we want to encourage you, like, we're going to kick you in the butt and make you get your project started. And then number 4, Jenny, let's talk about what we're doing next season. So we learned a bunch of stuff. And from what we learned, we're going to course correct going into this next season of work for the She Interviews.
Yeah, that's right. So I think Jess explained a little bit before, and those of you who've been following us know that we were pumping out one interview a week with a new special mom, which was really exciting. And I think we'd gained a lot of followers that way, and people were really engaged in the interviews. But we just kind of took a step back and reevaluated the kind of content and the quality of content that we wanted to make sure now that we were consistent in delivering. And because of that, we adjusted our content schedule so that one week you will get an interview, but it'll be with Jess and I, so that we get to talk to each other and we get to talk to you a little bit more. Just to share a little bit more about our stories and who we are personally and where we are in our careers and in our families and what that's going to look like as far as being an entrepreneur is concerned. So we get to dialogue with you a little bit about that. The second week of contact, we're going to focus on an expert. It could be in a specific field. And I'm not going to reveal all of that right now.
Well, actually, I am going to reveal who we're going to have next. Yeah. Okay. So next week we have our girl Jillian that's going to be on, and she's going to be talking to us about relationship mindset during the holidays, because the relationships that we have with people are the hardships that we have with relationships kind of get heightened during the holidays, and she's going to help us get through that. So I'm really excited for next Wednesday. We're doing that with Jillian. Yep.
Yeah, so that'll be our expert week. And then obviously we would never remove the heart of the She Interviews is the interview with a specific working mom itself.
Yeah.
So we will have that for you for the 3rd week. And the 4th is when we're going to fixate and focus on this mini biography of our working moms during pandemic life, particularly right now as we enter into these winter months. We're not really sure what the pandemic is going to look like, but we do know that a lot of people are feeling that, and it's going to be hard, and we're all trying to gear up for that. Those of us who are in the Northeast particularly know, right, that we're kind of in for a long winter. And so we'll make sure that 4th week is a feature of a specific mom who tells her pandemic motherhood working from home story.
Yeah. So if you have a story that you want to share with us, please send us a private message. We'll send you the questionnaire because we'd love to feature your story.
Absolutely. I don't know, Jess, I think we covered all of the things that we wanted to make sure that we were clear with our friends about to this evening and this little election distraction that we had going on.
Yes, don't even say it. See, we just distracted everyone for 20 minutes and now you had to go remind them.
I'm sorry. It was really nice. I needed it. I needed the distraction.
We love you so much. Thanks for tuning in this week at the She Interviews. And we look forward to talking to you guys next week with Jillian about relationships during the holidays. Have a great night, everyone.
We'll see you.